Begin with our shot.
Oh.
Shall we have a shot?
All right.
I like this idea.
Let's break it in.
Bret can reach that one. Bret, can you reach that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to do that to you. All right. And cheers. Salute.
Ready? 2, 3.
I'm going slow.
Smooth.
All right, are we ready to go?
Yeah.
I feel like we've been going.
Let's do it.
I
Okay,
feel like
let's go.
We're on. I'm excited.
She's Candice.
Candice.
Candice is a pretty sounding name.
Candice is really 1 in a billion.
Oh, I love you so much, Candice.
Who's Candice? No! So Kristina, I'm sorry about that.
Mental characteristics somebody with the name of Kristina experiences.
Kristina, Kristina.
You're Bret, right?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Bret. You tried to
The Modern Matters podcast with Candice, Kristina, and Bret.
Well, hello everyone. It is our first ever podcast with Modern Matters and my girl here, Kristina. Of course, Bret.
Hi.
Bret.
And we're all here.
And
the
myself,
gang is here.
Candice.
Yes.
We already had our, I think we could call it a tradition, our pre-show little shot. Tequila's been on the table.
Yeah, and that has been in place when we were like creating everything before we
Yes.
actually shot live. So
Yes.
we can't let that go.
No, it's fun. It's good. It's a good time. So I guess today is a good time to tell everyone what we're after and why we decided to finally launch a podcast. I know for me, it feels a little bit like a passion project. How about you, Kristina?
I don't know. I just like the idea of having a different platform to be able to kind of speak about some real life issues, real talk, instead of kind of just following into the norm with everybody else.
What about you, Bret? We'll put you on the spot.
I want to sharpen the creative pencil, if you will. I really do. That's not even a joke.
Okay.
I love that. I think we should all be doing that, right?
Yeah, I think there's an outlet for that too, for sure. Absolutely. I know that one of the questions that was asked to me by others when I had mentioned that we had this idea was, aren't there so many podcasts out there? So
Yeah, the market can be deemed as
4.1 million,
Ooh.
something like that, active. I think when I last looked.
Just because we're late to the race, it doesn't mean it's not going to be awesome.
Oh, I don't doubt it's going to be awesome. I think that my number one thing that I like to always say to people, and correct me here if this seems offside to say, but when you're a mom in a community, a parent in a community, I mean, I know Bret doesn't have kids at this point in his life, but you're from a smaller community, you or we, I feel, identify with the masses.
Yes. I think that the beauty of this group is that I think that there's synergy, right? There's many different offerings because we all come at it from different angles, right? So I'm looking forward to the conversations because the conversations, we might talk about one thing, but to have different perspectives on it, it's going to make it super interesting and real.
I would have to agree with that. Kristina, why don't you get into a little bit of your background as well? I think that that's kind of cool to touch on, and we'll hit up Bret.
Wait. I got one. I got one. What is it? It is blue.
Blue. Oh.
My name is Little girl, what's your name?
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, that might be cut out. We don't know. So if there's 6 seconds of silence, we know that YouTube, Spotify, we cannot use licensed music like that. So
I do like
we'll
the
see.
M&Ms on there, though. It gets me a little bit
I
excited.
know. I
I'm
think
not
it's
gonna
fun.
lie.
Why not? People talk about these things all the time. But Kristina with a K.
Oh, yes. Special K, that is. Yes, I just want everyone to know, Special K, I've been referring to that since high school. So here we are. A little bit about me. I am an author and I'm a motivational speaker, and now I am an emotional intelligence strategist. And you guys are probably like, what does that even mean? I have been in corporate for 20 plus years in senior HR leadership roles. And what I would see is that, people would struggle with emotions all the time and pretend that they didn't really matter. But when you start to shift and you realize that everybody has emotions, we just need to leverage them better. That's what I do. I kind of help organizations, and then I help also individuals to better leverage their emotions so they can show up and tap into their best potential.
Love it. Love it. Bret, I'm always going to be the one putting you on the spot because I already know you're going to be the one making fun of me the most. And you, Bret, give us your background.
I didn't hear you go.
What?
I thought I was third.
You're second on this one.
Well,
I have to steal ideas.
Right.
Oh, that's what's happening right now?
Very
yes.
true. Well, I've been a photographer for 15 years, just about. And more recently, within the past 4 to 5 years, I would say, introduced video. So doing a bit of videography. So like I said, with the podcast, sharpening the creative pencil a little bit and getting into audio, learning it. Stressful, slightly, learning new things. I like to already know things. I enjoy the learning process, but I like to already know them, especially when we're combining it with video, which we're doing here. But yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to get into this kind of new media market. I don't know how new it is anymore. It's really like 4.1 million podcasts existing, but it's a good way to be creative with each other, I think, and get some ideas out. I know I work so much with clients, which I love, and I try to choose clients that I can work with creatively and we can share great ideas, but ultimately my own ideas and creative outlets is what I'm looking for too, to be able to use all the tools and things at my disposal to do that, and this is one of them. So I'm excited. I apologize if our first show goes a little bit rocky, but we've prepared quite a bit. I think you guys can attest to how much we've thought of as much as we could to get everything off the ground. So here's hoping, but we look good. We sound good so far. So let's keep it up.
I love it. So, funny when this comes to my way, I, feel like there's a lot to unpack there with me because, I have done a lot of things in the past. Bret and I were, business partners with a photography studio for quite some time, working in lifestyle. Prior to that, I worked in service for many years. I worked as a makeup artist for a film company, and then I went out and freelanced and did work on my own. So clearly, creative industries are something that I find myself always going back to. In the height of closures and things that have recently happened to much of the world, I had to pivot, and I was fortunate enough to lean into my family's business, which is in alternative healthcare. So I sort of didn't leave the studio fully, but Bret and I had to make some decisions about what we would do with our place. So I got into that line of work and have been doing that, but feeling pulled back to an industry that allows me to speak on the creative world, and also the many things that I've been able to see throughout my life, throughout my travels, and hopefully I'll be able to bring something to the table with respect to some of the topics that we have lined up, which are awesome.
Yeah. I think that, for the listeners, the group that you have here, it's our first one, and we're learning to kind of, officially kick off a podcast, but I know that you will definitely be getting your fair share of laughs and some serious conversation. And, that's really the beauty of it. I think that from my perspective, it was really around, getting people to own their stories and kind of being in a place of truth and showing up in an authentic way. And when people do that, you'd be very surprised. Some of the people that you have surrounding you, they're like pretty incredible. Like there's great stories, but sometimes we don't like to share all the stories because we have this whole thought that we want it to look a certain way. But you will not be getting that on this podcast. You're going to get the real deal and stuff that really matters at the end of the day. So
yeah, I would have to agree with that. I think it's probably a good moment to talk about how this came together, because I had met Bret through my sister, who they worked together, and then Bret and I worked together. And Kristina, you and I met through sort of mom groups at the school, I would say, and having children in the same school. And oddly enough, for me personally, I can't speak for you guys, but right off the bat, you guys both were an instant connection for me.
Yeah.
So much time had obviously passed for all of us. And yeah, I think you and I briefly spoke, Kristina, about the idea of a podcast because you had been on a few.
Yeah. Promoting the book and stuff like that. I think the part that is so interesting is that, and you've mentioned it as well, it's like the idea of the pivot, right? So, you know, you've pivoted into a different space just as I have pivoted into a different space, and hence bringing me to a podcast, right? I never thought that I was going to be an author, and now I have a full-on book. It's 350 pages. It's not just an ebook for 2 pages.
It's amazing.
It's a real one.
And it's amazing.
But the whole point is, it is through these experiences, you just never know who's going to cross your paths. And now, you know, Candice and I and Bret, we're sitting here and we're making it a reality. And I think that that's the overall message for the group. It's like, never say never. You just don't know how things may unfold if you have the right people in your life. And I will say that, you know, we've had a lot of fun doing this, and it's only the beginning, and we haven't even cracked open our funny stories.
No. There are some. So
1 to 10 though, how much fun really have we had with endless microphone tests, endless camera tests, endless lighting tests, endless days where we said,
do you want truth?
Recording the first one?
Yeah.
You want truth?
Please.
You
It's
go
a
first,
truthful
Candice.
space.
You're closer to Bret than I am.
Well, so to finish the thought, I brought Bret and Kristina together because Bret and I always said, oh, we should do a podcast, because we've worked countless hours and spent nights in our studio space together, editing and completing projects and fighting and then getting, you know, into the giggles and what have you. So this only could really come to life after I said to Bret, you and I will never do this together, because we'll release like 3 episodes and then life will get in the way. We need someone that's going to keep us accountable. And when Kristina popped up with the idea, I thought, okay, she's our accountability person, and Bret and I will do this because he's amazing at tech. So it is my inclination to just get her done all the time in life. Just get her done. I go in like a bull in a china shop.
Me too.
And I know Kristina is similar. We
Yeah.
So you get Bret in, who is very technical, which we actually appreciate.
Very much.
Yes, all things aside, all of the sounds and the lighting and the camera setups, like we see them all. There's a lot. It's involved, but I think that it's part of what keeps it professional. And for Bret, I know that he gets really into it, and it kind of speaks to his pencil that he wants sharpened.
What number, Candice?
So
You're dodging.
I'm dodging.
Yeah. What number?
How exciting!
I actually thought you meant
5.
what number pencil.
5.
Oh, yeah.
HB.
5. It's important, but I'm not good with it because my attention goes a lot of places.
You said a 5?
Yeah, 6.
That's why.
That hurt my feelings.
That's why I let her go first. I say 10.
You can't be a 10. You can never.
I say 9. I say 9 then.
She just said she was going to be honest. She lied.
No, okay. Honestly, to be honest, I'll say it's just because it's not how we're hardwired, and that's why it's so synergistic, because we need to have other people. So even when I'm building high performing teams, like in corporate, the key is to have a bunch of different people working together, not more of the same. And that's what's happening in this group. Bret has a skill set that I do not have, not even the least bit. So
Neither do I.
based on that, Bret, I'll bump it to a 7.
I think
Okay.
lower it to a 7.
No. Well, we have to lower it, but
I want to know what
Candice
he
was
thinks.
like, yeah. Candice said I had to be honest.
What did you rate it?
Well, it's a weird thing because I can step outside of myself for a bit and see how crazy it is to be so attention to detail and try to make everything, 99%. Everything can't go perfectly, but like I said, there's a lot to do when it comes to the audio side, which is new to me, and then the video I'm used to, so that part was kind of second nature, but also to treat it a little bit differently, that it needs to be fun. And that's the key, is like once we've done all the setup, which we've done, then we really do need to have fun, talk about the issues we want to talk about, and incorporate humor where we can, where it seems funny to certain people, I'm sure, but
I think it's funny.
yeah.
So how would you rate working with us in our patience when we were sitting here so quietly?
Only pay yourself a compliment. We were amazing. Did you notice?
Yeah, you're going to get that long.
I truly,
okay.
I think you guys are high because of the patience, and that's what it requires.
See, high.
Anything when it comes
I'm not high.
to technical photo stuff, it's so much waiting. It's like you hear about that if you listen to actors talk. They say friends and family want to come to the set, but they're so bored after 20 minutes because they're like, oh, I thought it was like Hollywood here.
Yeah.
And they're like, it is Hollywood. It's 12 hours of setup for 30 seconds of a scene.
That's a good point.
So yeah, it's a little bit of that, but I'm used to it. So I'm always grateful when other people are appreciative of being patient. I know Candice is super used to it because she's tested so much. Actually, almost all the new equipment that I've ever got, Candice has tested with me. So
it's amazing.
she's used to it, and super sport, which is awesome. So
there would be a reel of stills and videos of the sheer, I think I basically turned crazy when it's like, okay, just one more. And then he would take like 10 more and be like, I lied. Sorry, I just got to keep going. It's like, okay, I don't even like myself in photos. I don't want to be in photos.
I wanted to put together a supercut for around Christmas time of all of the tests that we've done and all of the ridiculousness, but there's so many hours of footage, so many photos taken that would require so much extra work that around the holidays is when I like to wind down.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll keep that in mind.
The time it takes though is kind of interesting because I feel like once we get going with our episodes, there are so many great topics lined up ahead of us. I think it's going to speak to different people at different times for sure.
Definitely.
I know we have a goal, and the goal is to kind of reach people to provide some perspective. And I don't want to list off, famous podcasts and people and comedians that have succeeded doing this kind of stuff. But what I have always found interesting is when you hear someone who's already made it talk about their success story. A lot of times there's a backstory. The story is a little bit different. They sort of already had a level of success or family or people behind them to propel them into positions they're in. And in the sake of all of us, I think that we are the vast majority of people, for sure, in this part of the world. Average, your business, Bret, being in an art industry, there's a lot of people that are trying to succeed in art industries, and you now off on your own doing some of that spiritual leader things and guiding people to kind of come and step out, especially through your book, but just being an entrepreneur now. I think a lot of people will have some common feelings that we share.
Yeah, I think that the part that's really important, at least for me, is that I think that there's still an opportunity to really talk about some of the stuff that goes on. I know I mentioned it before, it wasn't until I wrote a book about authenticity and being the authentic you and really understanding some of the stuff that, and we'll talk further about it in some of the future episodes, but some of the things that, we believe that, we need to be a certain way, which actually takes us away from all this amazing stuff that we really do have to offer. So, to create a platform like this, I'm really excited because we're going to talk about relevant topics, and we're going to talk about things that are relatable and accessible for people instead of just following a social media feed and not really getting more depth. And I'm looking forward to that because I think that you got to laugh at some of it because some of it's like really off the rails and you're asking. And then, there's other things that, we should be really thinking about on a deeper level.
Yeah, I would have to definitely agree with that. I think it's an exciting time. I think it's actually a perfect timing because there has been a major shift worldwide and I'm seeing things kind of level out right now. So it'd be a really great time to have some people even hop on and chat with us too that have some things to offer up.
I know that there's already some people that are queuing up that want to be a part of it. So should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. So the amount of time that we have spent on the set.
I wanted to call attention to that too. We'll have video available once we get this first episode out, but calling attention to the fantastic job Candice did painting a regular kitchen table pink and alternatively my little multimedia desk green and opposing chairs. Brilliant. They look good. They look really good.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a great
product.
All
pull together.
I don't know if I'm allowed to share that. It's so new to me that I'd love to share the product I used, but I don't know.
It worked well.
I don't know if we're really like, is that something we should be?
Well, sharing is caring.
I've always said that.
Sharing is caring.
It's mineral fusion paint. It's actually amazing. I didn't have to do any sanding, which Bret was concerned about in the studio space.
Yeah, we heard.
I was not allowed to get any drips of paint anywhere. He walked by the table and got paint on himself, just for the record.
We heard about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Particular about tech and cleanliness, which is actually, those are good.
We want him on the team. Like, there's just no doubt you're in.
I like to be clean and high tech.
Yeah. So
we couldn't really do it without you.
Finger on the pulse and showered.
Yeah.
Freshly showered.
Also very versed in pop culture, and Bret has been the guy that has taught me things about pop culture that even my own young children have not brought to the table.
I feel like I'm learning too.
Yeah. He is on top of all of that kind of stuff. He'll come to the studio and be telling me something that's new and hot or upcoming, and sure enough, months later my kids are talking about it. So
well, even like trending, yeah.
Not all of it useful either. That's
definitely a lot of it unuseful, but interesting nonetheless, because it does speak to what we're talking about here with respect to the podcast and some of the things in the world today that I think need some attention.
So I have a question while we're here thinking of that, because someone was trying a while ago to make the word savage seem really cool. Like, hey, that's savage. That's savage.
Yeah, I remember that hype.
And I was like, okay, yeah, you're kind of weird. Why are you trying to like really make this word cool? But now I'm hearing it everywhere around like how these words
Is that
just
still a cool one? I don't even know. It could be gone.
You think so?
I don't
know.
I don't actually know. But yeah, you are right. And it's funny because what is, like, let's look that up. I'm curious. What is the real definition of that? That is something we should bring.
So I know what my kids will tell me. They're like, that's when someone gets ruined and wrecked. Like, that was savage. Like, you were just awful to that person.
I thought it was like amazing.
Really? See, this is where it goes off the rails. Let's figure it out.
I always thought when kids or people use that word in modern day, it was like you did something that was crazy, like off the charts, like wicked, savage, like.
Oh, see? Well, we got to figure that out.
So the dictionary says that the definition of savage is fierce, violent, and uncontrolled. That's the first definition.
Can you like pop culture, maybe savage?
So what's that place where you can find words, but it's like not a real dictionary, but kids use it?
Oh, what's it called?
Snopes.
No,
but that sounds like Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Urban Dictionary.
Urban.
Snopes is where you would check if something is a meme or whatnot is true.
Oh, okay, so let's see what it says according to the Urban Dictionary. A savage is a person who is, without trying, an obvious legend and never fails to live up to his or her title.
So you're right.
So the example would be Jim just pulled. I don't know if I should say this. I'm going to say it. I can't believe that this is the world we live in and our kids have access to this. So this just goes to show you. Jim pulled 3 girls in one night. Fred answered, dude, I told you he was savage. Really?
So he's a legend?
That makes him a legend.
Okay. So just random thought that popped into my head. So I just thought I'd ask to see the trending and things that pop up.
That's kind of an interesting topic.
I think where the main problem comes, though, is that it's considered derogatory to the indigenous culture is where the criticism is coming from. Because
Did you look that up?
No, that's... I thought that was within the Urban Dictionary. No, that's just what from the past. That's what I've heard.
Why?
Sure.
How does savage relate?
They were referred to in a derogatory way as savages, right? Which
See,
that's so sad. Yeah.
It really is, and it's interesting because obviously language has evolved and it continues to evolve. That's kind of part of, I think, some of the misconceptions and misunderstandings that people have had over time, because there are a lot of lingo, sentences, sayings that we don't really realize how it could trigger another person, right?
Yeah, and intent is key, right? Like if you're
I
intending
agree.
to be derogatory, then terrible. But
yeah.
if Jimmy smashes Jane or whatever, then
3 girls. Jim got 3 girls, so he's savage. I know it's funny that the English language, I'm sure every language, but I mean, I can only speak to the language I speak.
Yeah.
Is often there's a lot of words that are changing in meaning, and you do hear a lot of that. I mean, I was guilty of seeing what I thought wasn't something negative until someone actually educated me, and I kind of went, oh, okay. So those are kind of interesting topics to bring up.
for sure.
Now people are going to wonder, what is that saying, right?
Yeah,
Were you thinking that?
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I could say it.
Maybe
it's
for
a
the
learning
next
point,
episode,
but maybe I'll leave it.
Maybe each episode we do a word.
Put it in the show notes.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, I'll leave that one. But the next episode, we will bring that up. So take note. I'll write down that word. But no, it was a learning point for me because I didn't see it as something negative until someone brought it to my attention and as to why and gave a deeper explanation. But I'm looking forward to all the topics. Kristina has lined up a lot because she has a great writing background.
I don't know about great, but like I do write. And you know, it's so interesting when you start going on this explore around truth and around, you know, really looking at things from an authentic perspective, your own personal authentic perspective, not worried about what anybody else thinks. You end up discovering quite a bit, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's why I think these topics will be quite interesting once we start getting into them.
Yeah, I like that. I know that one of my pet peeves with sort of the world in general today is pointing outward and blaming things outside of ourselves. And I think that we're going to touch a lot on how to kind of go more within on self-improvement things and the way we view the world, the way we perceive things. Everybody has a different perception. And I think that this will be cool to be able to have these topics brought up. And I know the three of us share many of the same beliefs, but we also don't on topics as well. And that's another
But that's
important
healthy.
note.
Yes.
It is healthy because I think today, in today's world, we're often having to be so careful about what we say and do when the intent is not something negative. And it's nice to have a group of friends that can have different beliefs and put it out there and have a conversation. And then you can learn. You can learn from your peers.
Yeah. I think it's necessary. If not, we just become more of the same. And that's the part of the issue, right? It's like many...
I get scared when
I know. I don't know what's coming up
well,
now.
I feel like now that we've introduced ourselves,
Yeah.
I'd like to introduce you to a couple people as well.
This is what Bret's magic little tricks are. He likes to surprise us. Okay, let's see.
This is Kristina Randall, and she's a YouTuber, and I am into her. I follow her. She's wonderful.
Wow, this is
she
Bret's
has
girlfriend.
Great messages. Not quite my girlfriend, certainly, but she has great messages and a great channel, and she shares tips that I think
she shares
all of us need to know
Yes.
on some of my favorite topics.
Oh, Lord.
Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Kristina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance on hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber,
I'm sorry, I have to stop this. Those hand movements.
She's great. She's
She
great.
is actually great. I also love her hair, I have to tell you.
Candice, please.
Okay,
y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing today? I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Today is going to be part 3 of the unspoken prison rules that I've been doing. You guys have been loving these.
So a little backstory. She's been to prison. She went to prison in Florida, I believe, in her 20s, I believe. She has been rehabilitated and likes to discuss it in a positive way, which is great. And the tips, unbelievable. I mean, when I say I'm into her, I am into the videos. She's also into health and wellness and things like that now too. But oh no, this tip we can transfer into outside of prison life, I believe.
Okay.
We're excited because it's just kind of like an insider thing that you learn whenever you get on the inside of prison. I've gotten a lot of questions of like, how do people know these rules if they're unspoken or unwritten or da. If you don't know these already, you will find out real quick, okay? Because somebody will let you know in a probably not so nice way. So that's how it goes. Like nobody comes up to you and gives you like an inmate handbook that were written by other inmates. You do one of these things and you're going to find out because people are going to come at you.
Yeah,
and typically it's not like excuse me, I just want to educate you on this. It's not in that type of way. So use your imagination.
She's the best. And
so what's the tip? Is she going to
share?
Tip?
That was it. That was the intro I needed.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I just like that she's like, there's no inside book for welcome to prison.
I will venture to say that if there's a prison documentary that I stumble across on Netflix, I have to watch it. It is unbelievably scary.
Shows. Yeah. I really do.
I think they do their job in scaring the crap out of you so that you don't ever want to go to prison.
Tango and Cash.
I feel kind of oddly opposite. I feel like if
I love that movie.
All right, here's her tip.
Okay.
I like it.
Unspoken prison rule we're going to talk about is something that I didn't think about whenever I went in there, but an inmate told me about it whenever I was in there, is when you are using the bathroom.
Oh man.
You want to have one leg out of your pants. Why do you want to have one leg out of your pants? Because if you have both of your legs in your pants and somebody comes up and starts hitting you because they're catching you slipping, sitting on that toilet, how are you going to run? How are you going to fight? How are you going to get your legs in the right placement in order to fight? You can't. You're stuck. You always, if you're sitting down and going really potty, you are going to need to take one leg out of your pants and go potty. That way, if something goes down,
this is a good tip.
You can get down with them.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about that. Somebody had to tell me, girl, you better keep one leg out of those pants legs. Don't get caught slipping. And I was like, oh. And then I started noticing like all the old timers, every one of them, baby, going by the toilets, one leg out, one leg out. It's just a thing. Keep one leg out of your pants.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you, Kristina.
Honestly, when I go to the bathroom in the hood from now on,
I'm not talking in the hood. I'm talking in your house. Well, you guys have children. Like, you're going to need this for more subtle reasons than you're thinking, I believe.
We think we're talking prison, but we really aren't.
Yeah, this is the thing.
She's a very pretty girl.
She picked it up in prison. She really is great. Outside of joking around, her channel is good. She's positive. So this is me. I'd like to introduce you to another Bret photographer. Unfortunately.
I'm gonna cry because everything about this is Bret's worst nightmare. I've worked with him for a year.
This is bad.
Oh my God, it's Bret Michaels.
The most cleanly
Bret Michaels, professional horn dog. His job.
Yeah, we used to watch it. I'm not gonna lie, we watched it when I was in university.
He was in Poison.
What? I know who this is.
And then he got a job with Donald Trump apparently on The Apprentice. Well, he won. He won the show, The Celebrity Apprentice. And then I think he did this Rock of Love, right?
Oh yeah,
I
Rock
think
of
after.
Love. Yeah, and the girls get eliminated, and
he's just always horny.
Oh my God, it's kind of true.
And
I never
especially
watched, I never got into
taking pictures.
I want to see
smooth, hot legs run all the way up to her ass. It was wonderful and beautiful.
Can't believe you have Bret Michaels.
Oh, good God. That is
Bret,
a killer
you nailed
shot.
this.
He says good.
Damn.
Oh my God.
Girl, that's beautiful. Yeah. Oh, geez. Oh, yeah. Oh, damn.
Unreal.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Great pictures, by the way, also.
Oh, yeah.
He's really nailing
it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Something about to pop. Thank you, God. I'm feeling extremely horny. And
What?
I'm telling you, I'm ready to...
All these girls
I'm
are
ready to
competing for
explode. Just give me
Bret.
You are done.
I think I've seen this
Anyway.
episode. I think she almost makes it to the end. I've seen this episode.
A cowboy hat. It is just purely sexy.
How did she play
I'm not
it?
even joking.
Ripped. And I knew even if I didn't want it, she was going to have a piece of me.
Oh yeah.
Even if he didn't want it.
Oh yeah.
Unreal. So the sad thing is, I think some people do think this is what photography's like, which is,
Well, I don't know what kind of
completely
sessions
not.
you're having, Bret.
Yeah, no,
No,
that's
definitely not. I've met a lot of photographers. I'm a member of the Professional Photographers of Canada. We've done meetup groups.
Yes.
I can tell you, I've never met one that acts like this
Or
does
makes
that.
out with his
Makes
models.
out with the models.
That was a lot of things.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of love it.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Shows you a little variety that we're going to have on this show.
Yeah. Well, that's the name game. So I had to find something that was, relevant to our names.
I can't believe
the prison.
She's great. She's great.
No,
They're all great.
They're all great.
Bret Michaels, he's.
I'm telling you, I used to love watching this show once a week.
I can't get into
It's
that.
like who Flavor Flav has a show like
Yes,
this.
that
too.
was one the chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
One came first. I forget who, but did he set it up so that he did a different task, like
Yes.
a photo shoot?
Yeah,
or,
I have the photo shoot was like Flavor Flav did different kind of things, but the photo shoot was a Bret thing.
Right.
It's perfect.
Now, I would argue if you're a photographer and your job makes you that horny, you need a different job. You can't be that horny at work all the time.
No.
You're going to need Kristina's advice about
Yeah,
prison if you act like that in real life.
I can't believe that we are nearing the completion of our first podcast.
Very good. Very good.
So, do we have anything more to add before we shut it down here, or shall we just?
Well, I think about call to action. Just let them know to find us on our socials.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. We have modernmatters_podcast on Instagram right now. Today is the first day we've even basically said that out loud.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give us a follow, share with your friends. We will start getting a bunch of content up there. We also have a website, modernmatterspodcast.com. Or is it .ca? Is that bad? I don't know. You gotta look.
Check them both. I think it's .com from memory, but we'll have more information in the future.
Yeah, more will definitely come out. We've kind of decided to get going with it, and here it is.
And I would also say that as we're getting the podcast going, you always can reach out to every single one of us. We all have our own personal socials as well. Please, if you have ideas or different topics that you want to hear about, please DM us directly and just throw it out there because we're pretty open-minded. Yeah. And, this is about having powerful conversation and real conversation. So we're looking forward to keep going and hearing from you guys, and we'll go from there.
Yes, we welcome the feedback. Thank you, Bret, for all of your hard work getting us prepared. Kristina, coming on out today.
All right. Good times. So
very good. All righty.